board's clean. So I'm gonna wet my warm-up side with water. All right, make sure it's all evenly wet. I'm gonna flip it over. Gonna do the same to this side. A little spray. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna let that water soak in for a minute or two. I'm gonna hit record. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. So I did dry off my paper with a towel. Why? Because we're gonna start painting. You get it? All right. You guys don't have to, because by the time it comes around to you, your paper will be too dry if you dab it off right now. Yeah.
We'll be okay, don't worry.
Yeah. So just listen. Don't do anything right now. Just listen, please.
Sorry.
What was the first step? Does anyone remember how to do clouds? Right? We're going to paint the clouds with water. So whatever's white, we're going to paint with water, including the pretend smoke coming out of his pipe, right? So look at the screen, or the projector, I guess. Yeah. So gonna add some water there. Gonna get some water on his pipe like that. That looks good. So I think I'm gonna go with yellow ochre for the yellow sunlight, because the yellow I have is just way too bright. Yeah, it's just way too bright. So that's pretty good. I like that, right? And some yellow there, maybe there. And then the rest, I'm gonna use cobalt blue. If you don't have cobalt, you can use Prussian blue. Same, it really is gonna affect anything. Like that. I'm trying to see where I put that water. Right, it's okay if you go through over this statue. Yeah, it's fine. And I'm just trying to see where I put that water. There we go. Looks like that.
So you got rid of that tree too?
Oh yeah, I got rid of the tree.
We can have the tree.
Our focus is gonna be the guy, right? The old guy.
The smoke.
Old guy and his smoking pipe.
Oh, very nice.
So I'm gonna soften some of these hard edges with just water. So I'm cleaning off my brush, drying it on my towel, and then pulling off any hard edges that I don't like. Okay. And I'm gonna emphasize that smoke coming out of the pipe a little bit better. If you make a mistake, all you have to do is get your paper towel, I just dab it off like that, and then go back and add some blue just to help that
So the smoke is
create that smoke a little bit. The smoke is white. It's really hard to see because of the sheen, right? Is that better? Is that better? Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Excellent. Step one.
I put smoke. Do that.
Sherry's on. Sherry's on. Okay. So I'm going to move my palette over so you guys can see me mix some skin tone. So a touch of yellow ochre, or a lot of yellow ochre, and a touch of crimson. There we go. And that is skin tone, okay? I've kept a little bit of yellow, red on this side, and I'm gonna keep a little bit of yellow ochre on this side because I might have to add or touch up his skin. Typically when we're doing portraits, we do have a little bit of green as well, so I'm gonna do a touch of green. You don't have to. I don't think I'm gonna need it, but it's there. Okay. So we've got hands and his face, which is gonna be painted in. Okay. He's got some sunlight hitting him in the face, so we are going to try to keep that white. I'm gonna try, and yeah. Actually, I'm gonna use a little bit of touch of cobalt blue as well, which is already on my palette, and that's gonna be the shadow, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and get my skin tone. I'm gonna start. You can use a small brush for this if you like. And he's got a square on his face from his glasses. Right? I'm gonna paint his ears in. I left his beard out. I'm not gonna paint his beard. And we are going to avoid painting his hair. Actually, just the tip of his hair can be skin tone. And then his hands. His hands are gonna be this same color. I'm gonna leave a little bit of white on the top side of his hands to create that highlight of the sun hitting him. Like that. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of red. He's got a little bit of red on his cheeks there. Add a little bit of red there. Same with his hands. A little bit of red there. Let me know if I'm not on camera there.
What
but
about the hand on top of his arm?
oh, thank you.
Before you-
Totally forgot that one. That part. Okay.
Yeah.
He's got a hand right here. So I'm gonna paint that in.
That's her hand.
No, that's his hand. That's totally
Well, I
his.
drew her leg in here now.
You got 3 legs? Oh, you do have 3 legs. That's fine. That's fine. And I'm gonna use a little bit of cobalt blue for the dark skin tone, like that. Just a shadow, touching. There we go. So the sunlight is coming. You see where my paintbrush is pointing? The sunlight's coming this way. So all the highlights are on the left side of his face and hands, and then on the right side is going to be shadow, right? So that's why I'm adding the blue onto this side of his hands and face. And yeah, that looks fine. I'm gonna stop there. I'll let you guys do some of that.
Yeah, he's got age spots, he's got another leg. How am I gonna get rid of this?
Okay. So we're gonna start with his hat and his hair. We'll go top to bottom. We'll probably do his pipe at the end. All right.
You could make a boiler's hat on it.
We could do that if you wanted. Okay, so with your bright red, you can use crimson red or whatever. I'm gonna start with this little red mark on his hat. And Payne's Gray. So he's got some highlights here, right? So try to preserve those highlights. I'm using a finer brush now. I thought I'd make a change. He's got a bit of highlight. I'm gonna save that. He's got highlights on top of his hat as well. I'm gonna not worry about those creases on his hat. It's gonna be more of a simplified cap. Just touch that red, and that red is going to bleed into the gray, which is what I'm going for. We've got this, what do they call this? A button on top of that hat. And then once that's done, I'm going to soften some of these highlights here. So I'm softening with just water. Like that. His hair is, so I'm just gonna try to get some hair coming out the back of his cap there. You guys can see that, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So kind of, he's, his hair is a little bit gray, which is great. I'm just gonna add a little bit of puff of hair coming out of the back of his hat. And a little bit of skin tone under the cap because his hair is thinning a bit. And just a watered down gray. I'm gonna splay my brush. Everyone remembers how to splay their brushes, right? So my brush is splayed. There we go, like that. And we are going to just use the tip or the side of that splayed brush to create fine lines. And then when you have to do a large area, you're gonna use the flat end. Like so. And then I'm gonna go in with some darker gray just to increase the contrast. I'm just gonna drop that in a bit. So, yeah, hair could be tricky. So the less you do with hair, the better it's gonna actually look. And just some watered down gray again. I'm gonna do the top. Like, actually, I'm just gonna use a very watered down gray because it's quite light up here. I'm gonna splay this. Give him a bit of a shadow under his cap. Let's create some hair. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. That's okay. So that's his hair. Should we keep going?
Yes. Baseball cap and hair.
Baseball cap and hair and sweater. Sweater's gonna be gray,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So remember, he's got highlights on the front of his jacket there. Looks like a sweater covering.
It's a vest.
I don't
It's a
something.
fleece vest, and there's
Yeah,
his shirt sleeve.
right. Yes, it's a shirt vest. I just call it a jacket.
I'm married to the vest man.
Oh, are you? Is that how he wears his jacket? So we'll start off like that. I'm gonna paint in the dark areas. If you follow your reference, just paint in the dark areas for now, like that, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to grab some water. I'm gonna soften the rest of his jacket, and that's gonna pull in that dark gray. Okay, and actually the top part of his sweater is dark as well. It's just this front part that hits the sun is white. So that's his jacket. Actually, he's got more jacket. Should we keep going, or you guys want to stop there? What? Yes or no?
Catherine, should we keep going? Stop.
Stop? Okay, and as you see, this is wet on wet, so I am just adding some darkness to that sweater to create those ridges on that sweater. Okay, so hats, hair, and sweater jacket. Record button, and we'll zoom in. All right, so we'll start with the red, and I want that red to bleed just a little bit into the black.
You want it to be what?
I want it to bleed into the black a bit.
Oh.
So trying to do this quickly. And keep it fairly wet. Watch out for this bench. And then the back of his jacket is also red. It goes all the way down. Grab some Payne's Gray. And you just lightly touch that red part. Try to keep a white line between those two objects, but don't try too hard. Because we want a little bit of bleeding happening, but also keep a little bit of separation. Okay? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll do some shadows. Just like that. Looks like his jacket. Yep. Okay, and then we're gonna pull a little bit of color into this his white shirt, because it, as you can see, I guess you can't see. I'll
It's
try.
not really white.
I'll try to show you on my iPad. You see that elbow? He's got some reflection of red there. So we're going to just paint with water. I'm gonna touch that red and black area, and that's gonna get pulled up into his white shirt. And it's gonna create a bit of a reflection. Okay. All right. So we're also gonna do his shirt right now. So a very light tint of blue. So I'm using cobalt blue, and it's a very light tint, as you can see. So you want to keep that. We want to keep his shirt looking white, right? So, coming up to this area. Oh, I think I got too much water and not enough paint. I'm gonna start over because it's just too wet. That's better. So I'm just painting the shadows, what would we call it? The creases of his shirt.
So what did you mix to get that?
That's just cobalt blue.
Okay, just very.
Yeah.
See how it looks on, it's very shiny on the,
Oh, it is shiny. It looks like it's white.
yeah.
Okay. Ah.
Ah.
Okay. Gonna add a little bit of gray, just for the darker shadow areas. Just increase the contrast. Yeah, not hard to see. Let's move this. This light is, yeah, it's very unforgiving. increasing the intensity of those shadows. And it's wet on wet, right? So should so I'm gonna fix some of these creases. There we go. That looks like his shirt. Okay.
Okay. There. Dikit.
Great.
Yeah.
So same color, just gray. And yeah, there is no detail. The only detail really is his zipper jacket, which is white.
His zipper broke.
His zip is,
They
So-
all do. Yeah.
how do you know if it's a broken zipper?
Can we just put a white
I
spot
can
in
just
the
tell.
zipper spot later?
If you've already filled in his leg and you missed that zipper, it's totally fine to add white later.
Didn't fill it in yet.
But remember to paint top to bottom. It will create less streaking. And add a little bit of water to get your paint flowing. Be careful with his fingers, right? Because if you do paint his fingers in with black, you're not gonna be able to recover those. Black fingers, yeah.
Oi.
Have you ever had frostbite?
Ever had what?
Frostbite?
Yes.
Not
Once.
not great, right?
Skiing.
Skiing. It must have been a cold day. Cross country skiing
It's like a real bad
or downhill skiing? A really bad burn, yeah. It is really bad.
That leg looks pretty big, that knee.
It's a big man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Must be.
He's American.
He's wearing culottes or something.
What?
His pants look
Culottes?
really wide.
Palazzos. Palazzos, yeah.
Like Guido.
Or like the Italian pants? Okay, we're gonna try to separate his two pant sleeves with some white. And the pant sleeve in the foreground is a little bit lighter because it's getting hit by sunlight. I'll try to replicate that. And then his shoes, since I've already have black on my paintbrush, I'm going to go ahead and start black first. Typically I will paint the lighter colors first, but I'm pretty sure you guys can handle this going black first.
Yeah.
And he's got some black soles on his bottom of his shoes there. I'm just gonna use yellow ochre because, and some gray will make a brown. And we are going to do this part. And some red, because we already have red on our palettes. Just clean this up a bit. So looks like clearer definition, defining his shoes a little bit better. And socks. He's got black socks on. Okay. All right. What else should we do? His pipe?
Yes.
Let's do that pipe because it's brown and black as well.
Yeah, those glasses.
His glasses? Yeah, we could do his glasses too. Okay, so I'm zooming in. And zoom in on my iPad as well.
I want to use a pen for his glasses, it's too thin.
Yeah, we do have a rigger brush, right?
The
Got
rigger
one too, but it's hard.
in the bottom of my
You-
bag.
You'll be fine. All right, so brown again, I'm gonna use yellow ochre and some gray to make this brown color. And if you don't like this color, you can totally just use brown,
Pink, maybe?
right?
If we don't like the color, what?
If you don't like this brown color, you can use sienna, raw sienna. Okay, so this is raw sienna. It's more brown color, but whatever. You can choose your pipe color. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the shadows for the pipe. He's got a pipe going to his mouth. Like that. And his glasses. I don't need a rigger. Just gonna use the same brush. You just be careful, right? And that's it for that section. And we have one more section to go. The shoes there.
What was that? You know the curly guy in Ponte's Road with the curly hair that chopped his hair?
Gene Principe.
What's his name?
Gene Principe.
Gene Principe was at the Italian sandwich.
Hit record.
You gonna stay till 10 then?
So I'm taking out the big brush because we are going to get this done fairly quickly. We're gonna start with red. So red bench.
Is that the crimson red again?
Yeah, the same. Actually, we're gonna use a brownish red, right? So you can mix a bit of, if you don't have a brownish red, you can mix a bit of raw sienna or burnt sienna with that bright red, and that'll give you a brown. I'll give you a brownish red. Like a brick color like that, right? Okay, I just want to make it a little bit different than his jacket color. Even though in the, on our reference, it is very similar. I just want it a little bit different, so it gives us a bit of
It's great.
and yeah, it looks like this stuff. Looks like this. The wooden planks are on concrete, right? And we have this one here. Remember to save some white space on top of his hands. And let's fill in those concrete blocks just for the bench chair. Yeah, yellow ochre and gray is gonna be our colors for that concrete. And mix a lot of it because we're using our big brush and we have to fill in quite a bit. And this little piece will also make it concrete. That. Okay, so that's should give our viewer enough information to fill in the rest. I'm gonna add some gray on the bottom just for a shadow. Same with that. And then I'm gonna do our shadow in just a light tint of gray. And it's quite a shallow shadow. Gonna zoom in a bit here. So I'm gonna try to level this so you guys can see. So this shadow looks like something like that, right? And we'll pull these benches down. So this places our guy on the bench and the bench on the ground. And maybe add a touch of red down here just to break up that shape instead of the green, because that green's gonna look out of place if we add green. And then this lamp. This lamp we're gonna do in gray as well. And I'm just gonna do an oops, thank you. Sorry. I'm gonna zoom out because it's a large area. Just in gray. The whole thing. If you haven't, if you've already done this, this lamp, then you don't have to do this part. I'm just getting the rough shape for this lamp here. Right. Just gonna maybe add in some detail like that. All right. Don't think we're missing anything. Maybe clean up these, add another shadow there. All right. Okay, so. Okay.
Big brush. Look underneath here, that's one of